As the first pale light of dawn spreads across the city, a white Labrador steps onto the quiet streets. Her breath forming small clouds in the cool morning air. The usual chaos of urban life is still asleep. Shop shutters remain closed. Traffic lights blink lazily at empty intersections, and a soft, almost forgotten silence has replaced the hum of the city. Her owner walks a few steps behind, watching the rhythmic sway of her tail. The way her ears perk slightly at the distant sound of a lone sparrow. Each street corner reveals a different layer of the city's awakening. A coffee shop owner rolling up the blinds, the faint hiss of a milk steamer starting. It's day, and the gentle ripple of light reflecting off rain-washed pavements. The Labrador pauses to sniff the cool breeze, as if reading an invisible morning newspaper filled with scents of fresh bread, damp stone, and early blooms from hidden gardens. She lifts her head, ears pricked, as a cat slinks out from an open doorway, disappearing into the maze of narrow alleys that lead to the river. They pass by an old brick wall draped in ivy, where time itself seems to linger and cross a small bridge, where the water below mirrors the soft pink of the sky. The rising sun paints long shadows on the ground, stretching and warping the shapes of buildings and trees until they become unfamiliar silhouettes. The Labrador stops to take a deep breath, her chest rising and falling steadily as she savors the crisp air. Her owner sits down on a nearby bench, leaning back against the cool stone. In the distance, the first hesitant notes of a new day begin to sound. A street sweeper's methodical strokes, the clatter of a delivery truck backing into its parking spot, and the low rumble of a passing train. The Labrador tilts her head, listening intently. Then, as if satisfied with the day's offerings, she resumes her walk, her tail wagging slowly. The city is waking up now, stirring from its slumber like an old dog shaking off a long night's rest. Windows are being opened, curtains drawn back, and sleepy voices raised in song or shouted in anger or laughter. The white Labrador ducks her head to avoid the dripping faucet of a building under repair and pauses to sniff at a discarded candy wrapper, nose wrinkling in distaste. A group of children pass by, their voices echoing in the narrow street. "Look, a white dog," one calls out. "Hi," shouts another. And the Labrador responds with a friendly woof, lifting her head to acknowledge their greeting. Their laughter rings out, chasing away the last vestiges of sleepiness. They reach a large square dominated by a towering bronze statue of a long-dead hero. Pigeons gather at its feet, cooing softly as they preen their feathers. The Labrador, ignoring the fluttering birds, trots around the base of the statue, her tail brushing against the cold marble of the surrounding fountain. An old woman hobbling with the aid of a cane approaches, stopping to stroke the dog's white fur. "Such a beautiful creature," she says, her voice raspy with age. "Thank you," her owner replies, smiling. The old woman nods and shuffles away, disappearing into the throng of people who are now filling the square. As the sun climbs higher in the sky, the pace quickens. People hurry by, their faces a mix of determination and resignation, each lost in their own thoughts. Some glance at the dog, some nod, some smile. One man stops to scratch behind her ears, his gruff exterior melting away as he looks into her adoring eyes. The white Labrador pulls gently on her leash, eager to continue her exploration of the day. Her owner, feeling the tug, follows willingly, aware that the magic of the morning is slowly fading. They pause beneath the awning of a fruit vendor, the vibrant colors of ripe melons, plump grapes and shiny apples a stark contrast to the darkening sky. The smell of ripe peaches mingles with the tang of lemons and the sweet aroma of nectarines, creating a heady perfume that stirs the dog's senses. Further on, the rhythmic clang of a blacksmith's hammer echoes through the narrow street, mingling with the sharp tang of metal on metal. Sparks fly, painting fleeting streaks of orange against the gray backdrop of the old stone buildings. Intricate designs take shape, each stroke of the hammer telling a silent story of strength and resilience. As the sun climbs higher, the city's pulse quickens. Distant engines, hurried footsteps, the rush of a new day. Yet for these few precious moments, there is a shared awareness between the dog and her owner, a quiet understanding that the world, with all its noise and chaos, can wait just beyond this haven of calm. They stop outside an old bookstore, its window filled with dog-eared paperbacks and leather-bound classics. The scent of aging paper and ink fills the air, promising countless adventures in faraway lands. As they pass by, a bell above the door chimes softly, announcing their presence to the slumbering stories within. The white Labrador sniffs at a flower box overflowing with petunias and marigolds, their bright colors a cheerful counterpoint to the gray buildings. She lifts her head to listen to the melody of a nearby street musician, his saxophone weaving a soulful tune through the morning haze. The music drifts through the open window of a cafe, blending with the rich aroma of brewing coffee and freshly baked pastries. They come to a small park where children are playing. The air is filled with the joyous sounds of their laughter. The rhythmic thump of a bouncing ball and the excited squeals on a nearby swing. The Labrador, tail wagging, observes the scene with quiet amusement, her gaze lingering on a group of toddlers chasing a fluttering butterfly. As the sun climbs higher, the morning light deepens, casting long shadows that stretch and warp the shapes of buildings and trees. The air grows warmer, the silence of dawn giving way to the murmur of a city slowly waking up. The white Labrador, bathed in the soft glow of the rising sun, stands still, her eyes half closed, savoring the warmth on her fur and the peace in her heart. Her owner, kneeling beside her, rests a hand on her head, feeling the soft fur beneath his fingers. In this moment of quiet joy, they are connected to the earth, to the city, and to each other in a way that only dawns can bring. Around them, the city awakens. The rhythmic clatter of a nearby construction site, the distant rumble of a passing train, the murmur of voices, and the gentle lapping of water from a nearby fountain, these sounds, once jarring, now form a comforting backdrop to their peaceful start to the day. As the sun breaks free from behind the tall buildings, the city basks in its golden glow. The white Labrador, her morning ritual complete, turns to follow her owner, her tail wagging. Ready to greet the day with the same grace and serenity she brought to its dawning. Together they leave the quiet of the morning behind, carrying with them the tranquility of the rising sun. For a few fleeting minutes each day, the city is theirs, a vast and ancient place brought new each day by the rising sun. For a dog and her owner, this daily ritual becomes a testament to the simple joys of companionship, the beauty of presence, and the magic of a shared connection with the world around them. As the sun climbs higher and the city awakens, they are reminded that the greatest adventures often start with the quietest of steps.